Hello everyone, Darren back for the absence over the last 3 weeks or so. Just been really busy with work and what have you, and then I've just come back, taken my little one on a little holiday to the Isle of Wight, which was amazing. So yeah, come back from that absolutely shattered. And shattered out from other things, which I might explain later. Okay, but I hope everyone's well and still soldiering on. I've spoken to a few people over the last couple of weeks, and most seem to be doing really well. So that's a good positive. And people are sticking on the wagon, which is great news. Not really going to be scripted as usual. I don't know what I'm going to say from one fucking minute to the next, so bear with me. But there is stuff I want to say. I've sort of got more things to say, because I've had a little bit of time away and stuff, and had time to think about the things people are sort of talking to me about, really. I'm not going to name the particular person that a lot of this stuff has come about from, but I've been in deep conversation with somebody in particular. You'll probably know who you are, but it's an important conversation from my point of view, and hopefully we're getting somewhere. It's obviously when you're that in despair with your addiction and your gambling that you just you can't see any way out, and I think if anybody's watching this video or the videos on YouTube regards gambling addiction and stuff, I think you probably acknowledge the fact that you've got to that stage, haven't you? That it needs addressing, and your problem's out of hand, if you like. So it's quite sad, to hear. Obviously, I'm sort of in recovery and have been, and plodding along really well. So I sort of like the thought of all that's going on for some people right at this minute is it's quite saddening, really. But again, I have been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, really. So going into a little bit of some of the stuff that's been discussed with me, it's sort of like this definite rock bottom stuff, no way out, and thinking some crazy stuff, and some horrible thoughts, and sort of life ending stuff. Now I'm not a professional, I can't deal with that. All I am is a problem gambler in recovery. So I can advise and I can help, and put my bits across and my experiences, but they're only my life experiences, and what's helped me in the past, and what's got me to where I am today. That's not to say that that these things are going to work for you. I'm just hoping that you might pick something up along the way, out of what I say and what I've said in the past, and that might just give you the strength to soldier on, and just to make better of your life, because we all deserve that. The key thing that's come from it, from my point of view, is that you've got to help yourself. This is paramount. This is number one. This is stage one. You've got to acknowledge your problem, which I think most people have done if they've got to the stage where they're watching this kind of video, or making that initial call to, let's say, I don't know, GAM care, something like that, or or thinking about going to a GA meeting or whatever. I mean, that's a positive step, okay. But then there's this period that you go to these things and you get this support, and you're still going to be pulling back and fighting it like mad. I know plenty of people that would say that and have done in their vlogs. I mean, Andy says it quite a lot, that he was dragged kicking and screaming to GA meetings and stuff, and that's not going to be uncommon, because that's sort of the families and the loved ones' response, isn't it, just to get you somewhere and to deal with it. But if you're not ready, it's not really going to work. But if you are ready, you've got to put some effort in. Without your input, all the support and all the advice and everything that you can get, it's not gonna do a lot, but combined, when you put all of these things together, it can work wonders, So that's the thing I'm getting at the minute. So I'm getting, a lot of, I'm putting a lot of things out there to this particular person. I hope they're watching this, because it might come across a little bit better on here. But emotionally, I can't assist in these things. That's advice I can't give. It's too individual. It's too personal, really. I can just give little snippets of what's helped me, as I said, and that's what I've tried to do from day one. And little things that might help me, like I say, they might not help you, but you can adapt them. You can be creative with the things I've done. Maybe just flip them about a bit and and work something out, or adapt them to your life, your lifestyle and what have you, and they might just work, But there's plenty of tools out there, It's a simple Google search will get to the right places, and things in your area that are going to help you, and that's key. So it you see what I mean? It's just all boiling down to the same thing, that in your recovery, the most important thing about it is your input and your commitment. Without that, you're going to be gambling again. So it's tough. It is tough to see people going through it and what have you, and definitely sort of bypassing the things I'm saying and just seeing it as all doom and gloom, So going on that basis, I just want to recap to the latter days of my gambling before I successfully managed to get into a recovery that thankfully has lasted to this day, and that was really looking at things, treating it as day by day stuff, but also everything seems gloomy, everything seems so negative when you're engrossed in gambling. There's no self-confidence whatsoever. You don't think anybody likes you. It's just all very, very, very negative. So what I started doing is just like, obviously I wasn't like full of the joys of spring when I started my recovery, and there was a lot of damage that needed repairing. So obviously the key for me was to take it day by day, but I wanted something else in there as well, sort of focus on, and it wasn't a massive thing, do you know what I mean? It was just something that I played about with, and that was just to find one positive to take from the day, and you'd be quite surprised how tricky that was at the beginning, because I just was so used to seeing everything as shit. You know, I couldn't make a cup of coffee right, do you know what I mean? And that would, you know, upset me. I couldn't, useless, and the same for everyone that's going through it. You know, it takes a massive chunk of you away, and you're just sort of left a sort of, you know, you don't know who you are really, you know. So for me, in them early days, just trying to pick a positive out and focusing on that really sort of chirped me up a little bit, you know. And there's always a positive in your day, always. Even on a shit day, there's a positive kicking about somewhere. And you know, slowly but surely, I started realising that, you know, even though I wasn't massively far into my recovery, I kind of, you know, found so many more positives that, you know, that I looked at when I was gambling as negatives, you know, because I was just in that negative frame of mind. But I kind of, without the gambling, I see them in a totally different light, and that's the crux of it, really. That, you know, you go, you know, plodding along. You're just floating along. You're just in this weird existence. You know what I mean? And it's yeah, quite fucking frightening, really. You know, that you can. You know, once you stop and you sort of take a little bit of control back, that, you know, all these fucking things that you were seeing as negative are actually all right. You know, it's just your mindset, and you know, that gambling bastard sat on your shoulder, blurring your vision. You know, so yeah, so I'll really, you know, it's about helping yourself in it. So the tools that are out there, you've got to be ready. You know, if you're not ready to quit gambling, there's nothing really out there that's going to be good for you right now. There's no magic cure. This is what I'm trying to get across to the particular person I'm speaking to. But there's no tablet for this. You know, there's nothing like that out there. You know, if there was, it would be so much simpler, wouldn't it? But, you know, the only way you're going to get gamble free in your life is through a bit of graft. And I ain't frightened of graft. I never have been. I'm a grafter. I have been all my life. And I just sort of implemented that way that I am into digging in deep and getting through it, you know. But yeah, I've read good stuff and watched stuff, you know, that's helped me. Don't get me wrong, I haven't done this on my own, but I've got to take the biggest part of the praise for getting out the fucking hole in the first place, you know. So, you know, a saying that, you know, is quite short and sweet, but explains it all, is as long as you're pointing in the right direction, all you've got to do is keep walking. And that's true, isn't it? You know, as long as you don't turn back, just all you got to do is just keep walking. And then gradually it will get easier, day by day. And then it turns into a week, and then it turns into a month. I mean, I see and hear so many people that are chucking good numbers in there, you know, and they're on good numbers. But, you know, just keep fighting, keep going forward. That's all that matters. You know, look at the money that you've got in your pocket for not gambling for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Yeah. Look at the things you can do with that. and look at the time you've got on your hands, you know, that you can go and spend with loved ones and your family, and you know, and you can go and you can wake up and look at the sky in the morning and just be happy about something, you know. I mean, that's really what the other side offers you. And you know, the flip side of that is what I'm dealing with at the moment with this person, and it's all very dark and horrible, and I know that side of it. I know that side. I've been there. So it's not you know, alien to me in any way, shape or form, and that's what I've said. You know, I once was in that position. It's not, you don't have to explain it or justify it. I know it, but I don't miss it, and you know, hearing it just makes me stronger, because I'd be fucked if I want to go back to that, ever. It you know, it was you know, a horrible period of my life, but I am a problem gambler, and I always will be. So it is that case of never say never, but there are plenty of things that I have in my mind that I run over and I think about, and you know, I discuss with myself in a weird and wonderful way, to prevent me from going back to that. And it works. You know, I've got this little mental image or video or whatever it is of all that shit in the past, and I play that, and I know why I'm where I am today, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, so it's, you know, a case of you know, doing the education thing is really important. You know, and if you, the particular person I'm on about, there's things that you know, they should be doing, but they've got excuses to why they're not. Now, I know them excuses are the gambling, okay, and the denial. So it's just taken a little nudge in the right direction, and now they're off going to do a couple of them things that I've suggested. But it was quite obvious with the rebuttals that there's still a lot of denial going on, and that's a big part of it, isn't it? You know, if you're not ready to relinquish that you know, hold that gambling has on you, and what a fucking hold it is, you know. But you've got to admit that gambling, you know, is beating you. You can't beat gambling, you know. So you acknowledge that, you let it win. You know, that submissive thing again, isn't it? You know, and I think I said it. You know, roll over, just let it tickle your tummy, do what it's got to do, you know. But you know, you've been beaten. That ain't a bad thing. There's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about, is there? Yeah. You know, if I got in a boxing ring with you know, a professional boxer, I'm not expected to win, am I? You know, so I can walk away and say, yeah, well, you know, that's the way it is, isn't it? You know. It's no different with this. When you're addicted to something, there's no shame, or you know, you shouldn't be guilty or, you know, remorseful or anything that, you know, it's beating you. What you should be thinking is, wouldn't it be nice to sort of settle for the fact that you know, I know I can't control this, so you know, I've got to learn to live with it, and learn to live without it, okay? And it will always be there. I mean, you know, drink for alcoholics, I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? Drugs, you know, if you're in that sort of niche group of people and stuff and what have you, they're going to be about. Gambling is all over the TV. It's in every high street, in every town, and in every, you know, all the country, yeah? So you're not going to dodge it, you're not going to avoid it. The government are never going to ban it. So you've got to live with it. I mean, they do little things, little token gestures to ease it. Obviously everybody knows about the fob teas and the stake reduction in the bookies and stuff, but I mean, if you want to do big stakes, just go online. I mean, it's it's a little gesture, that's all it's been. Who goes in the bookies now anyway, really? I mean, there's not a lot going in there, I wouldn't think. So it is, your recovery is all about you. It's your recovery, okay? It's your story from the start, and it will be your story to the end, okay? And for me, with the denial that I'm seeing, you've got to acknowledge that problem to start with. It's okay saying I want to stop. But I think I mentioned this in another video as well. It's that 90% with 10% left open. The little trapdoors. You've got to close all these avenues off, and then you can move on. You leave any door ajar. As gamblers, we're going to gamble. It's as simple as that. So do the research, read stuff. I mean, this particular person said I'm not a great reader. How bad you want to stop, for me, I would have done anything, and I did do anything. I went to everything I could. I spoke to people, I read everything, I watched everything, and then the more you see, the more you read, the more you go and speak to fellow gamblers and what have you, you start building a picture. You sort of start getting an understanding of why we are like we are, and how you can sort of adapt things and implement things into your own life that are going to, help. And it does go back to that. There is no magic pill. It's I kind of wish that there, was. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? But it's not as simple as that. You really aren't going to get out of the vicious cycle without some hard work. I mean, gambling for a problem gambler is Groundhog Day, and the more you do something, obviously the harder it's going to be to stop that. I mean, you can just take that for whatever, can't you? Just little routines. I mean, I drive the way I do. To change my driving habits now would be near on impossible, after all the years. So, that's the habit. It's a hard thing to break, isn't it? And a note on that, unfortunately, people. I mean, I've got my vapor here, but I have been a bit slack, I must admit. I have smoked a few cigarettes lately. Don't know what went on there, to be honest, but it's just felt needed to. I mean, I've been on the vapor all day again today, but I've definitely sort of lapsed a little bit of late, but I'm still chipper. I'm still all right with that. I've spent a good period of time off the fags, but a blip, isn't it? It's not it's catastrophic. I'm not beating myself up about it, and I'm back on the vapor today, and off we go again. So shit happens, doesn't it? And I did say early on when I was starting the vape, I will treat it no different to when I was gambling. I expected to slip up at some point and get all get all fluffy with cigarettes and stuff, you know. But it's one of those, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah. So I hope everybody else is all right and ticking along okay. I got moaned at for not posting a video, so you know who you are, mate, as well. But I love the fact you've given me the heads up, mate, and said come and do a video. So hence the reason I'm here. But yeah, I'm going to try not to leave it as long next time. It's just like I say, I've been uber busy and you know, and holiday and what have you, and just struggling to find that little bit of time to sort of jump on, which I know sounds crazy because I'm only on here sort of, you know, half an hour and what have you. Another reason though is that I've you know, met somebody in the most peculiar of circumstances, to be honest, and you know, they've taken some of my time up, and I'm really grateful of it. You know, I found somebody that's really nice, and yeah, been really kind and yeah, really supportive. So they know about these videos, so probably watching this one. So yeah, so been honest and what have you, and that's been nice. As gamblers, we probably get into things and not quite as forthcoming about our past and you know, what we've got up to, but I can certainly vouch for honesty is the best policy. It's not done me any harm in this particular instance, and I'm really feel great the fact that there's nothing to discuss, you know, about it. You know, it's I've sort of said it, and they're fine with it and stuff, you know. So it's all good. So yeah. Oh, another note. I met my I probably talked about it in an early video actually, but about rebuilding relationships and stuff, and obviously that you know, when you're gambling and stuff, your mates and what have you, you sort of, you know, they just lose faith in you a little bit if you just keep messing about and you know, and being a bit of a nuisance as we are, you know. But I met one of my mates that I hadn't seen for you know, an awful long time, to be fair. And bumped into him in the local Sainsbury's, and yeah, he didn't know I was behind him, and I sort of tapped him on the shoulder and fucking scared the living shit out of him, I think. But we had a good chat and that, and it was, you know, really nice to see him. And yeah, he's put some timber on, that's for sure. But we are getting older. But yeah, so we promised ourselves we're going to tag up and you know, have a game of golf, and you know. But like I said, it will never be as good as it was, the friendship. But you got to start somewhere. So yeah, that I'm quite looking forward to, you know, at some point tagging up with him, and you know, maybe not talking about the old days. I mean, it might come up a little bit. There was some great fun there. You know, and I might just, you know, manage to get my my apology into him, you know, and try and make amends for the way I was and what I'd done. You know, that would be, if anything come of it, that would be, you know, be rewarding. You know, that's kind of what I want to get out of it, and you know, at least acknowledge to him that what a fucking tit I was, you know. And hopefully we can, you know, go and have some good times again as mates, you know, because he was a good mate. And you know, obviously at the time I didn't really you know, appreciate that. Well, I did appreciate it, but I was in the crux of the gambling addiction, you know, and as we all know, that takes priority, doesn't it? So yeah, yeah, I hope, you know, like I say, you're all doing good. It's not a massively long video. Didn't really know what I was going to say, but I've jammed it on as Darren does best. And yeah, I'm hopefully not going to leave it as long. I'm absolutely shattered, as you can probably gathered. So you know, it's I didn't work last week because I was on holiday, but I feel more shattered for having an holiday, you know, and I had a busy weekend, you know. So yeah, so hopefully I'll speak to you fairly shortly again, and you know, standard stuff. Any you know, questions or anything, come and have a chat. You know, the messaging's always open there, innit, on Twitter as well. So yeah, if you want to come and say something or say hello, then please do. Likewise, if you want, you know, any pointers in the right direction about banking or, you know, self-exclusions, I won't go into all that again. I seem to do that every video, but you know, there's plenty of places for that kind of thing. You know, Gamstock is the big one for the online stuff. Gamban as well is something you can download and what have you. So just do some searches, really, you know, basic search on, you know, gambling blockers and things, and that's going to point you in the right direction. Yeah, and just everyone stay strong. So you know, my name's Darren. I'm a problem gambler. Last bit, I've got to chuck that in there now, is 7th of June 2016. Okay, so yeah, wish you all the best and love to you all, and I will speak to you fairly shortly. All right, cheers, bye.